Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rachel Cotton. I'm the Community Resource Developer and Perkins Grant Coordinator for the Delaware County Technical High School, and I would like to welcome you to the School of Health and Biosciences Open House. With us today, we have several teachers who are a part of this school, as well as DCTS staff and administration. The first person I would like to introduce is Dr. Stephen Butts, the Director of DCTS.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our open house. This is, I believe, our 6th open house so far.
Correct.
Welcome, and I want to thank the teachers and all of our staff for the hard work that they have done in pulling these together in this most interesting time in terms of our application process. By all means, this one's about the School of Health and Bioscience. We also have open houses about our other technical programs. So if you have interest in any other areas, please join our, go onto our website so you can see what we have done already. Contact your counselor at the homeschool or contact us, and we can definitely answer any questions that you have. But welcome, everybody. We'll have about an hour for the presentation and the questions, so we'll get started.
Thank you so much. The next person I'd like to introduce is Dr. Linda Lomas, the Supervisor of Student Services.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. We're very happy you are able to join us today. I, as Ms. Cotton said, supervise Student Services, which includes the school counselors, special education, academic math and literacy coaches, and the cooperative education program, as well as overseeing the admissions process. Thanks, and I hope you enjoy the program.
Thank you so much. The next person I'd like to introduce is Mr. Chris Hansen, Principal at the Aston campus.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. As Rachel presented, I'm the principal of the Aston campus, which tonight you will hear from multiple programs that operate out of the Aston campus. And thank you for joining us, and we look forward to fielding any questions you may have.
Thank you so much. And the next person I'd like to introduce is Dr. Dan Palmer, the principal at the Fallcroft campus.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming. Sorry, I'm just jumping on. It's great to see everybody. I hope you have a great day and a lot of information you're going to get today. Hopefully it's a great eye-opener of what our programs offer and how much you can get from us as your students hopefully into our program. So we wish you well and hope to see you in the future.
Thank you so much. Before we get into all of the teachers and let them introduce ourselves, these are the programs that we're going to be going over tonight: dental occupations, exercise therapy and sports science, emergency and protective services, health sciences, and lastly, biomedical technologies and laboratory sciences. But before we get into the programs, I'd like to talk a little bit about what is career and technical education, also known as CTE. We are providing to your students all sorts of different skill sets to be able to further their education, either into the workforce, into post-secondary universities and institutions, to continue their pathway onto a potential career of their choosing. We partner with all sorts of different employers and organizations to make sure that we are providing high quality content and the proper skill sets for your students to continue their education and get as most knowledge as possible. We also provide new equipment all of the time and make sure that we are up to our standards. All of our students at DCTS earn their OSHA certification, which is a basic safety certification. And we provide all sorts of different skill sets, and our teachers are absolutely fantastic to provide a classroom setting with lectures and PowerPoints and more, but also the students get that hands-on technical skill and attainment in a laboratory setting as well. So to kind of introduce our programs, I'd like to play a short video for you.
Hello, my name is James Dollinger, and I teach exercise therapy and sports science. This program provides both a theoretical and lab component and is designed for those students whose career objectives include post-secondary education and a career within sports medicine, athletic training, physical therapy, occupational therapy, exercise physiology, fitness training, and/or nutrition fields. Program graduates are prepared to pursue post-secondary education while developing a foundation of technical knowledge. Students can earn the OSHA 10 certification, American Heart Association Basic Life Support, which includes CPR and AED training, as well as the National Academy of Sports Medicine Certified Personal Training certification.
Hello, my name is Rhonda Goodchild and I teach students who enroll in the Dental Occupations program. They learn a variety of skills that will enable them to become a dental assistant, laboratory technician, pursue careers in expanded function dental assisting, dental hygiene, or to pursue a career as a dentist. There is a focus on patient-centered care in support of improving oral health as a key to personal health and well-being. The major areas of study in this program include dental radiology, oral pathology, chairside dental assisting, anatomy and physiology, dental materials, sterilization, and dental office procedures. Students will be introduced to dental anatomy, dental charting, infection control procedures, dental instruments and procedures for general dentistry, chairside assisting techniques, and radiology basics. As students continue in this program, they receive more lectures on advanced dental anatomy, dental software programs, dental specialties, and preparation for certified dental assisting and radiology board exams.
Hi, my name is Keston Weimer. I teach the Emergency and Protective Services program here. EPS offers a comprehensive public safety education to students that are interested in becoming police officers, firefighters, paramedics, EMTs, 911 dispatchers, state, local, and federal law enforcement officers. Any facet of public safety we offer here at EPS. Some of the units of study that we have are firefighting, law enforcement, criminal justice, emergency medical services, homeland security, communications, report writing. And in addition to that, there's several certifications that students can get from this program. Some of those certifications are OSHA 10, National and Pennsylvania State Emergency Medical Responder, CPR and AED from the American Heart Association, National Incident Management Systems, 100, 200, 700, and 800 courses. Those are from FEMA. Cadet Firefighter, and Hazardous Materials Awareness from the Pennsylvania State Fire Academy.
Hello, my name is Diane Stoom, and I am one of the 4 health science instructors here at DCTS Fallcroft. This is a health career exploration program culminating with the opportunity to choose a medical assistant or patient care technician pathway. The health sciences curriculum is a foundation for all health career pathways in which students may choose to train for a clinical medical assisting certification or a patient care technician certification in their senior year. Medical assistants work in the offices of physicians, podiatrists, chiropractors, and other health practitioners. They assist doctors and physicians. They take patient history, manage online medical records, measure vital signs, give injections, schedule appointments, and administer blood tests. Patient care technicians work in an acute care hospital setting or some type of clinical settings, interacting with real life situations, taking care of patients, bathing, feeding, transferring, doing EKGs, glucose testing, and other things that are required of a patient care technician. The hands-on experience and training students receive will provide strong preparation for future careers.
Hello, my name is Marnie Black, and I teach biomedical technology and laboratory sciences here at Delaware County Technical High School in Aston. This program provides students with the opportunity to use state-of-the-art equipment to learn the principles of scientific investigation and how they apply to environmental health, forensics, genetic engineering, and medicine. An emphasis is placed on DNA fingerprinting, polymerase chain reaction, microbiology, and immunology. Students leaving this program have the strong foundation necessary to pursue post-secondary and career opportunities in pathology, biomedical engineering, genetics, medical technology, and molecular and cellular biology. In my class, students explore the principles of biomedical science by engaging in activities such as dissecting. Students learn concepts of biology and medicine to determine the factors that led to the death of a fictional person. Students learn about human body systems through projects such as determining the identity of a skeleton using both forensic anthropology and DNA analysis. Students examine the interactions of human body systems and apply what they know to solve real-world medical cases. Students delve into activities such as designing a prosthetic arm and investigate how to prevent, diagnose, and treat disease.
guys enjoyed that video. I'd like to introduce all of our programs now. We're going to start with dental occupations. For all of the teachers that are going to be introducing their programs, please, if you can, showcase a little bit about what your students are currently working on and anything else that you'd like to share with their programs. So first up is dental occupations with our instructor, Ms. Rhonda Goodchild.
Hi, everyone. So our students right now are currently working on studying for radiology boards. So that is the big deal right now. The senior students are studying to pass their radiology boards, and they're doing awesome. We did a great job today in the little boot camp. Prior to that, we did home health care projects where they design projects for patient education. So they designed them and delivered them on student partners, but they designed these really awesome PowerPoints and the little flashcards, things like that, things that they would be able to educate patients on how to take care of their mouth. Also very awesome. And next week, we're going to start on Give Kids a Smile. So February is dental health awareness, children's dental health awareness. So they're going to take part in hopefully some community service in a virtual platform, but they're preparing, again, they're expanding on their PowerPoints to do some more with that. So we're really excited about that. In the lab, they're working with hand pieces. They're learning how to control hand pieces and transfer instruments. They're learning how to take the x-rays. You know, we do a lot, so it's hard for me to put it all in a nutshell, but they're very busy. They're having a great time. Yeah, I can't say enough wonderful things about it. They learn a lot, and the students are awesome. They're doing a great job. You know, again, like they said in the beginning, it's a little bit of a challenge, but they're doing great. And we've been able to manage everything, even in this environment, this kind of hybrid type of environment.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Rachel.
Our next program is exercise therapy and sports science with our instructor, James Dollinger.
Hi, everybody. How you doing? My name is Jimmy Dollinger. I'm a certified licensed athletic trainer in the state of Pennsylvania. I'm the instructor for exercise therapy and sports science, which is a 3-year program geared towards physical therapy, athletic training, exercise physiology, personal training, as the video kind of demonstrated. Currently, students, first, second, and third year or first year students are working on the brain and spinal cord injuries, so more geared towards concussions and spine boarding. Our second year students are working on gait and posture, right? So how you can look at a postural assessment and how that would translate into how someone is moving or walking, running, whichever it may be. And our third year students are focused on the National Academy of Sports Medicine Certified Personal Training Cert, which is a nationally recognized personal training certification, basically being able to work in a gym or personal setting with clients who are looking to better themselves, either physically, emotionally, whatever it may be. So they're looking into specific balance training exercises. A little bit about the program overall. So the first year is geared more towards anatomy and physiology of pretty much the entire body. So starting with lower extremity injuries, ankle, knee, hip, low back, and then kind of transitioning from the head down. So concussion, spine boarding, facial injuries, shoulder, elbow, hand, and wrist. That's pretty much the first year. Second year is more geared towards the body system. So looking at anatomy and physiology of more of the skin, specific organs, different body systems. And then the third year is geared more towards the certified personal training certification, which they can take and either use to better their post-secondary education at the college level, or go directly into the workforce in that avenue they choose.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Our next program is emergency and protective services with our instructor, Mr. Keston Weimer.
Hi, everybody. How's it going? Like Ms. Cotton said, my name is Keston Weimer.
I am a certified firefighter and paramedic in the state of Pennsylvania and a proud graduate of Delaware County Technical Schools. I actually graduated from the program that I teach now, which is pretty cool. Students in our program can expect to learn every facet of public safety. So they'll get a little bit about law enforcement, a little bit about firefighting, and a little bit about emergency medical services. Currently, we are in our firefighting unit, which is my personal favorite because I think it involves the most fun, hands-on kind of stuff. You can actually see in one of the pictures on here. That was a fire behavior lesson from last year. We're going to be doing that again just next week. So students are actually going to be able to see how fire behaves and actually work to put out real fires, which is pretty cool, I think. And once that concludes, we'll be moving into our Homeland Security and Private Security unit, which covers things like asset protection and how to protect businesses and homes and things of that nature. I think it's a great program for students that are interested in helping somebody, whether you, maybe even if you're not 100% sure what career path you want to go to, this is a good opportunity to kind of get exposed to all of those things. So.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank
Our
you.
next program is Health Sciences with our 4 instructors, Diane Stu, Monica Milio, Tina Dickinson, and Kate Beatty.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Milio. I am a first-year instructor. I'm an RN that I worked bedside for 23 years. We started this year off with an overview of the body systems, and currently we are working on the cardiovascular system. So the students are learning all the various pulse points of the body, and we are concentrating on learning how to take a radial pulse. They're learning what a normal rate and rhythm is. Each day, almost, I feel like, thanks to COVID, which we probably never heard anybody say that, thanks to COVID, we continue to talk about infection control and how diseases spread through this virus. So that's a continual lesson we go throughout the year.
Hi, I'm Kate Beatty. I am the first year instructor. This is my 4th year teaching at DCTS. I'm also a registered nurse. And I've experience from working in the medical field for over 24 years, from nursing to working in a doctor's office to being a school nurse. And so far, this is probably my favorite position I've had. As Mrs. Milio said, we keep our curriculum the same for the first year students. So myself, Mrs. Milio, and Mrs. Stoom, who also teaches one first year class, we try to keep everybody working at the same pace with our medical terminology and the body systems that we're doing. And we also share the lab. So each day a week, we take one day where we have our students in the lab and we're working on skills. As Mrs. Milio mentioned, we're working on pulse right now, but we've also learned how to, turn a patient in bed, make a bed properly, make a bed with a patient in the bed, and as well as working on getting a patient from the bed, out of the bed into a wheelchair properly, using proper body mechanics and ensuring that they're not going to hurt themselves or the patient that they're helping to move. Mrs. Stoom or Mrs. Dickinson?
I am Diane Stoom. I have been teaching for 15 years now. I did 16 years in the hospital setting prior in various different positions within the hospital. And I do teach a first level class and follow along with Mrs. Beatty and Mrs. Milio on curriculum. And then I also teach one class of patient care technician certification. This is the first year for that certification. It is considered a hospital nurse aide, which has a little more skill set than the nurse aide certification we had offered prior. We do EKGs and glucose monitoring, and work in an acute care setting versus a long-term care setting. So it's a new curriculum for me, but very similar to the old one, but the students are learning. We've gotten the basics underway, all of the foundation things that they need for theory. And now we're going to get into the good stuff with patient assessment, vital signs, EKGs, and actually a lot more hands-on things. So the students are doing very well. I have a great set of students, and I'm excited for them to be future healthcare professionals. Our program, Health Sciences, is such a great foundation to work anywhere in healthcare. And it just gets the students used to, you know, the healthcare setting. And when they get to the opportunity to do clinicals, and thanks to COVID, we don't have them right now, but they even build up more confidence in going further in schooling or going out into the work field. Mrs. D?
Yep. This is Tina Dickinson here. I teach the second level, third level for seniors for medical assistant. This is probably about the 4th year I've been teaching them. I've been a nurse for 25 years. Prior to that, I was actually a medical assistant with a multi-specialty group. My students currently are working 2 different ends. We're learning how to do phlebotomy, and then we're also learning the front end, basically how to answer your phones right now. Next, we're going to start scheduling. They're actually studying for their quarterly test tomorrow. But it's been tough with doing virtual and hybrid. However, they're doing very well. And it's always great when they're coming out, learning this stuff, and it's amazing. They're even impressed with themselves with all the different things, how we've been changing things around. We are actually, since we're not being able to do clinical this year, we started Real Diagnosis is actually where we get to work with patients on, they get to watch video cameras, which is real live patients that are from doctor offices, urgent cares, hospitals, and they can see how their patients are being diagnosed, how the treatment they got in those facilities. And it's great because it actually goes along with what we're learning in our programs. And they actually will start sit for their cert test in May.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And our very last program is Biomedical Technology and Laboratory Sciences with our instructor, Mrs. Marnie Black.
Hi, everyone. My name is Marnie Black. This is my 3rd year at Technology and Laboratory Sciences program. So this program is very exciting. It starts out with a crime scene. We use math and science to try to figure out what happened to the individual, our victim. We start with the crime scene and build into human body systems, and they build all of the different systems onto mannequins. So they learn about each of the systems and how they work together while they're learning about the whole human body. And then we're going to finish up with medical interventions, where they get into the biomedical technology aspect of it, of building prosthesis for individuals that need it. We work with biomedical companies and interact with them through tours and guest speakers. We've been working with Globus Medical, which is a spine implant company in Audubon, Pennsylvania. We do field trips that are medical based. So it's a lot of hands-on interaction in the classroom with microscopes and blood typing and all kinds of circulation machines. We do EKGs, blood pressure, heart rate analysis, and they develop all of their experiments, the design, the analysis, the data collection, and analyze everything on their own. So it all starts with the scientific method and how it's utilized in all the different scenarios. So they learn about all different careers they have opportunities to go into. So my students become doctors, nurses, pathologists. I have one going to Penn State for forensics this year. So the forensics really gets them pulled in, though. It's a very exciting part of the program. So right now, my students are finishing up their mannequin build. So today they were putting their last touches on them, taking their pictures, and tomorrow we're actually going to break them down for first years to take them over here in a few weeks. And then my first years are finishing up the crime scene, and we're actually in genetics right now, learning about pedigrees and how traits pass through generations, and it's very exciting. So it's a really, really fun and engaging class for people that like forensics and science or watch any sort of crime shows. It's a very engaging curriculum.
Thank you so much. To talk about our application process is Dr. Linda Lomas.
Hello. So this is a copy of our application here that you can see. We have those available. Your counselor at your homeschool would have these available. They are also available online on our website, which we will provide at the end of this presentation. And basically what we ask you to do is fill out the demographic information and choose three choices: your top choice, your second choice, and your third choice. It's really important that you do that. These programs can get very competitive, so we want to make sure that if you want to get into a healthcare profession, that we do get you into a program. And then the essay component is just a short answer, 2 questions, just to get a little idea of what you would like to do, what direction you would like your career path to go into, just so we can get an idea of what you want to do. So when we're looking at the applications, that we can kind of gear it towards where your career path is going. If you are a student that has an IEP, there is an IEP meeting process that's required as part of the application, just to make sure we have all the supports that are in place for you. So that would come through your case manager at the district, and they would contact me and we would set that up. We're in the process of doing those meetings right now. We do like to have the applications by the end of February, and all of the district counselors are aware of the dates for the applications that are due. We will, obviously, if it comes in after February, as long as there's space in a program, we certainly would consider all those applications as well. But for kind of getting into your first choice of program, it would be really important to get that application in as soon as possible.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lomas. To talk about our school to career programs is Mr. Chris Hansen, the principal at the Austin campus.
With one of our primary goals in preparing students for the world of work, we do seek out opportunities for students, especially students who are looking to cap off their experience at the end of the senior year, to participate in a co-op or a paid or unpaid internship in a program-related area. We feel like this is a really important component of career and technical education, in that the students can actually practice the curriculum that they've learned and learn to apply it in the working world, working with an employer and with employees that are actually in that field. Obviously there's no replacement for real life experience. So there are opportunities for students to participate in these programs, and these programs would take place in effect to replace the time that they would spend at the Career Center. So a lot of great opportunities here. Our co-op coordinator, Chris Marshall, does a great job of working with local industry and local employers to set up students with these experiences, and also to assist in sort of supervising and facilitating the co-op experience. So lots of opportunities for students here to really get a chance to get their feet wet in the working world.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mr. Hansen. We do offer student organizations at our school: Skills USA, FCCLA, HOSA, and the National Technical Honor Society. Unfortunately, we do not offer any sports or other extracurricular activities, but I do encourage students to continue to participate in sports and extracurriculars at your sending high school. It's very important to stay involved. They look great on resume. You'll gain additional skills, new friendships, and so much more by joining these.
Great.
Good.
I was just wondering, I know Mrs. Dickinson is one of the advisors for Skills USA, so maybe she could talk a little bit about the competitions that the students do there.
Absolutely.
Yes, Skills USA, we have, most programs have, I think all of our programs are having people that are competing, this year being differently. They're going to be virtual, so we have to actually videotape them, and then they will be sent to the judging people, the judges So that actually be starting February 1st, I think, is our opening for that. So the kids are starting to work hard on that. We did have one of our students last year for auto that actually made it to states, but unfortunately, because of COVID, we could not compete after. We didn't compete after local. And then actually, Mrs. Stoom and Mrs. Milio are HOSA ones.
Yeah.
Would you guys like to share anything on HOSA?
Sure. For HOSA right now, we are working on our local membership at the school level, where we will be doing some community service work, hopefully in the springtime. And that's generally like just collecting for needy organizations. And we will be competing in the State Leadership Conference virtually. It's April 7th, 8th, and 9th. Our competitions, of course, are different, and because of COVID and because they are not in person, but we will be doing some virtual competitions and have put that out to our students now. So we're just trying to get it together. But it is a great opportunity, and it's a great thing for the students to have on their resumes and applications to college, that they, especially if they're going into healthcare, HOSA is something it's health science related, and healthcare related. So it looks very good on a resume or application. And Marnie Black, Mrs. Black, is also a HOSA advisor.
True, I am.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. A couple of things that we offer are different types of college credit for students at DCTS. Our first type of college credit is dual enrollment. These are the current offerings that we have with Immaculata University and Widener University. This is what we offered for the 2021 school year. These do change depending on the school and what they're offering and being able to provide to us. They are online, so the students follow the schedule provided by the professor and turning in the coursework on time based on their syllabus. These courses are heavily discounted compared to a student in undergraduate degree. So these, I know for Widener specifically, the courses are $200 per class. And students are able to, depending on how long they're in DCTS, they're able to earn up to 30 college credits. Immaculata, I believe, is similar in that way, but they only offer specific classes. Theirs, I believe, are about $300 a course. So again, these are very heavily discounted, and it's a great way to get started ahead on college and seeing if it's a right pathway to go on to college for you, and seeing if you like the courses that are offered at that university. Another type of agreement that we have for colleges is called SOAR, which stands for Students Occupationally and Academically Ready, where this is an agreement across the state of Pennsylvania where students can actually earn a minimum of 6 to 9 college credits, depending on the university and their equivalency. Some can actually earn up to 18 college credits, depending on the equivalency that's being offered. These are at schools like Penn Tech College, Thaddeus Stevens, other technical centers, and community colleges as well. You can find more information about this at collegetransfer.net. It is also listed on our website. All of our programs have the agreements listed as well, and they're consistently being updated. So please look at our list online, as well as visit collegetransfer.net if you have any other questions or concerns about this type of agreement. Another agreement that we offer is called articulation agreements. So these are direct agreements between the Delaware County Technical High School and other universities. For the programs that we're talking about tonight, the current offerings are with St. Francis University, Newman University, Pennsylvania Institute of Technology, and the Pittsburgh Technical College. So how these agreements work, I did put an example utilizing exercise therapy and sports science. So students would have to complete those 4 things, which is a task list of skills that students need to complete. The NOCD is an end of the year exam after they complete 2 years at DCTS. And then specific to this program for exercise therapy and sports science is the CPR and AED and the certified personal training. Other programs have other certifications that they need to complete to be able to get an equivalency. So if students complete those 4 things for this program, They have the ability to go to Newman University and already have those 3 introductory classes listed on their transcripts. They're now 3 classes ahead of other classmates, and they have the potential to maybe pick up another major, pick up a minor or any certifications, or even potentially graduate early. And it also saves off of tuition and housing and books and so much more. And it's a great opportunity for students to take advantage of while they're here at DCTS. And of course, we have our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Delco Tech HS, and our website listed right there, where you can find out more information. There are lots of pictures to be seen of what the students are doing, as well as videos and other information that are details about each program and our other programs as well. You can also find the recording of this Zoom on our open house tab on the left-hand side of our website. It will be on the website most likely tomorrow morning, and please feel free to check it out again. And before we open our Q&A, I would like to thank all of our teachers and our staff for joining us. So if you have any questions at this moment, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A or in the chat box. So while we wait for any questions, I do have a question for all of the teachers. And that is, why should a student consider your program with career and technical education at DCTS? So if any teachers would like to kickstart that question.
Sure, I would like it. I think there's a few reasons why I think a student should consider any of the programs here. First of all, this is very different than regular school. This is very different than your grandmom's English class. You're going to come here and you're going to actually be outside of the classroom working. If you're somebody who likes to be active, it doesn't like just sitting in a classroom, this is probably the place for you. It's truly an exciting learning environment. And additionally, very few places will be able to give you the tools that you can use so you can walk right out of here with a job. And a lot of our programs offer that, which I think is a big deal as well. It'll definitely put you miles ahead of some other students, depending on the career field that you want to go in.
To add to what Mr. Weimer was saying, I always tell the kids when they start with us that they are, a step ahead of their peers in regards to getting an experience and kind of making a decision towards their future. Some kids come into this and think, I really want to be a nurse, or I really want to work in the medical field. And then when we kind of get down to the nitty gritty of the information and start doing things, they might not be interested in it. And finding that out in high school is a huge benefit instead of trying to get into a college and, spending that money. This is free. So you have the ability to try this out while you're still in high school. And, if it works out, even better, because you're able to then, move on and actually start a career with, the extra knowledge.
I'm going to piggyback on that because also with our programs, a lot of the programs have certifications where they can actually graduate and go out and get a job. Our certifications are nationwide. So if they go to a different state to go for college, if they want to go into college, they will be able to get a job like as a medical assistant or PCT in another state along with that nationality. We actually had 2 former students come speak to our class last week, and they actually said how much it helped them in their nursing programs, what they've learned in our programs. And Mrs. Beatty and I, they're one of our first students, and to see them being sophomore, juniors in college, saying that thank you for what they learned in our programs to help them in college.
I'd like to actually piggyback off of that comment. So in dental, they also have a national certification. So the radiology health and safety certification is a national certification. So if they do decide that they want to move to another state, they're always going to have that. They take that test once and they never have to take it again. So that certification lasts them a lifetime. They never have to go back for it. So that's one good thing. Many times the certifications, they need to be renewed and updated. With this, it's something you have forever. The other, in 34 years, so I've been practicing dentistry or teaching dentistry for 34 years now, and never have there been a downturn for dentistry. Dentistry, according to the labor statistics, grows at 7% every year. For the last at least 4 to 5 years, it's been growing at a rate of about 7%. COVID has not touched dentistry at all in terms of the job market. There is still plenty of jobs for dental assistants, dental hygienists, EFTAs, and dentists. So regardless of what their career path is, you know, this is definitely a foot in the door. If you think, again, if you think you might like dentistry, this is a good opportunity to try it out, see what you're in for. And if you like it and you like, you know, helping patients and, you know, advancing your career even, this is a good place to start to know whether you're going to enjoy it or not. So I think that's about all I have to say about that.
And I was just going to add that most of the all of the instructors are actually specialists in the field, have had that experience. And we do mimic the real world for the students and do labs and do, you know, scenarios, but we also teach them by saying real world things that happen to us in our you know, in our employment and in our positions. So it's a good thing because we all have you know, a minimum of 4 to 5 years experience before we can even start teaching, and a lot of us have been around for a long while.
Perfect. Thank you all so much. Our first question that we received, this is for Dr. Linda Lomas, an admissions question. How often do the classes meet? Is transportation provided by the enrolled student? And when are applicants notified if they are accepted?
Okay, yes, we meet Monday through Friday. It's 5 days a week. You attend either an AM session, which is 7:30 or 7:45 to 10:30, or a PM session, which is 11:30 to 2:15. Transportation is provided by your school district, and you are notified when you're accepting. Usually you will be notified first through your school district. They get the lists around mid-May of those students that are accepted, and then you would also receive a letter from us in early summer that would indicate the program, your teacher, what supplies and things that you need to be prepared for in order to attend in the fall.
Great. Another admissions question, Dr. Lomas. In order to apply for this program, do I need to hand in both the admission application and the health and bioscience form, or do I only need to turn in one of them?
You just need to turn in your application. I'm not sure what form that you're talking about, but you just need to fill the application form out, and that should be sufficient. And then what happens is that if you do your application online, then we contact your counselor at your home school to get all the supplemental information, your transcripts, report cards, attendance, discipline, all those things that we need to see that are part of the application process. If you go through your counselor at the school, then and you turn your application into them, then they will send all of that, the application and that to us. So either way, the application is really the only piece that you need to worry about completing.
Thank you so much. This question is for Mrs. Goodchild. Is the dental program accredited towards certification/licensing?
So accredited, it is not. So the radiation health and safety certification that you will take, it's an off-site board exam, so you don't actually take it in the school, but that will that doesn't apply to another licensing. So licenses are separate. We don't offer a license here, but the certification is the national certification through radiation health and safety. I think that I answered the question.
I think I'm just going to jump in and say that our programs are programs of study, secondary high school programs of study, and not college programs per se. So they're not accredited as college programs.
Thank you, Dr. Lomas.
Great. I'm going to answer this one. The question is, I was wondering for dual enrollment, does that mean doing DCTS as well as college? Also, would it give student here an advantage in the college acceptance process? To answer the first question, you would be doing DCTS as well as the college. The courses are completely online, so the student would go at their own pace, following the syllabus of deadlines given by the professor. For an advantage in the college acceptance process, it would definitely help for the college. These credits are transferable as well. So for the Widener agreement, for example, let's say if you take the Widener courses and you don't actually end up wanting to go to Widener, you can actually take those college courses with you to another university that will accept them. So I believe it does help. The next question is another admissions question for Dr. Lomas. Do students need to reapply every year?
No, once you're in the program, you're in the program. So, and then just to clarify, because I saw there was another question about what grade level students start at. Our programs are identified as 3-year courses in our PDE, Department of Education system. So students can start the program in 10th grade and complete it in 3 years. There are students that do come in 11th grade and can still complete the program. So I think I saw that question. You can come in 11th grade and you can complete the program.
Perfect. And along with that, the next question is, do these classes interfere with high school classes, or is there an agreement discussed about attendance and missed work? We are a half day, so students either come in the morning or in the afternoon based on their sending school schedule. So they will complete English, math, social studies, and science at their high school, and we replace their elective credits. So you will talk with your guidance counselor. Please talk with your guidance counselor, because they're going to be involved in the process regardless, and they need to know, and they can actually be able to help you figure out what type of program might be a best fit, or maybe a different pathway for a university or a school specifically. And you will only be here for either in the morning or the afternoon based on what schedule they help create with you. Another question for Mr. Weimer, would you get any certifications from the Emergency and Protective Services program?
Yes, I'm very glad you asked. You get quite a few. So the first two that I'll talk about are the Emergency Medical Responder certifications. You get one through the National Registry of Emergency Medical Technicians. So that's a national certification you can take anywhere in the United States. And then you get another one through the Pennsylvania Department of Health. That provides you with the basic skills and basic credentials to work in EMS on an ambulance. The other certifications that we offer are the National Incident Management Systems 100, 200, and 700 and 800 courses. Those are all through FEMA. Those talk about interoperability of agencies during large-scale incidents, and talks about how the Federal Emergency Management Agency deals with like natural disasters, things of that nature. You also get hazardous materials awareness through the Pennsylvania State Fire Academy, CPR, AED, and first aid through the American Heart Association, and cadet firefighter, which provides you with basic firefighting knowledge as kind of a precursor to the state's Firefighter 1 program, and OSHA 10 as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Our next question is, I was wondering what classes would work with animals because I'm interested in being a vet. Thank you. I believe Ms. Black can answer this question.
So I do have students that are interested in veterinary science. We do have a class pet in biomed. It's a ball python. We also have foster dogs. So we had a couple weeks last year where we brought in a foster puppy, and he was in class with us for a few weeks, where we talked about homologous structures and analogous structures. It was all related to the curriculum. So if you're interested in veterinary science, I absolutely adore animals, and pretty much that's all we talk about besides forensics in my class. So it might be a good option.
Thank you so much. A question for Dr. Linda Lomas, or the principals can jump in and answer this one as well. What happens when the sending school has a day off or a schedule change? Is it a day off at the primary school, a day off at the technical high school? How are half days handled?
So I'll go ahead and field this question. So this is an interesting question because at DCTS, we consider these what we call conflict days. And they do exist, and especially when we service 15 different districts, not including parochial schools, we have a lot of this. Our policy is we encourage districts to continue to send transportation for students to participate. While students currently are not required to attend, we are moving towards hopefully developing agreement potentially for the start of next school year, where if there is a conflict day and a student is not provided with transportation to attend the program, we would require the student to participate virtually through the program's learning management system.
Great, thank you so much, Mr. Hanson. Linda, can I have you answer this next question, please? I want to apply for the health science program because I'm going into nursing in college. What other two programs would you recommend for my second and third choice? Teachers can also answer this as well if they think.
Yes, they can.
I know that's a difficult question.
It is a difficult question. However, I would say that biomedical technology would be probably the second choice, because that's going to prepare you for health careers. I don't know. Anybody want to jump in on the third choice there?
Possibly medical careers in senior
Mr.
year.
Weimer's class offers a lot of information about medical background as well. So, I mean, that is an option if people were considering something in the medical field.
Okay, can you repeat that, because I didn't hear the beginning.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Weimer's class, although that covers emergency protective services, do you disagree, Mr. Weimer?
No, I don't disagree at all. A good, thank you. A good, at least a quarter of the entire program covers medical, but I mean, in reality, it winds up being about half of our year is spent in emergency medicine. So yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I know personally several EMTs that have gone on to become nurses and even some, doctors, things of that nature. So it's definitely beneficial for somebody that's interested in the medical field.
Great, thank you guys for that question. The next one, if you have any programs on cardiology, because I want to be a cardiologist. Any of our teachers?
We don't have specific programs on cardiology, but the health sciences does touch on it when we do the body systems.
Fantastic.
We do it in biomed too. We touch on the whole circulatory system, building it in the mannequin, using EKGs, using heart rate monitors, using all kinds of different sensors and probes, sphygmomanometers to take blood pressure and stuff. So I think any of these programs really would be a good option.
Thank you so much. This next question is for Mr. Dollinger. Can you become a physical therapist right out of high school for one of these programs?
So unfortunately, you cannot become a physical therapist right out of high school. That requires a doctorate degree from an accredited university, whether it's a 3+3, which means 3 years of undergraduate studies, and then 3 years of more of the doctorate program, as well as passing the American Physical Therapy Association boards exam. And that kind of goes hand in hand with all the other professions. What you would be able to do would be a physical therapy aide through more of like a rehabilitation technologist in the physical therapy field.
Fantastic, thank you so much. Another admissions question for Dr. Lomas. Are there any prerequisites for these programs?
We'd like to see on your admissions application, basically what we're looking at for your application is that you are doing fairly well in your school classes, that you've taken, especially, but there's not a specific prerequisite for these programs. However, it would be beneficial and you would most likely have had a couple, 1 or 2 years of science, a science senior program. So having done fairly well in science would probably be good, a good thing to come into the programs. But when we look at the applications, we look at your essay, we look at grades, attendance, discipline, and kind of the courses that you took. And then we also, well, not for next year, but we also do look at your Keystone scores. But of course, with COVID, nobody took Keystones last year. So we will not be able to look at those.
Fantastic. And another question, Dr. Loomis, what are the chances of getting the classes that you would like?
Honestly, it really depends on the class. Some classes we do get more applications than we do than we have space in the program. So then we have to look towards second choices. But we always look to try to place students in their first choice program. However, sometimes we do need to move students to the second choice program. I would not let that deter you in any way from applying, because a lot of times what happens is that we can end up getting you into in some way, shape, or form. So please don't let the possibility of not getting into your first choice deter you from applying. We want you to apply, and we do everything we can to accommodate everybody's choices.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We are almost out of time today, but I do want to thank everyone again, all of our teachers and all of our DCTS staff for joining us today, and everyone who is in attendance. Again, this will be, the recording will be placed on Zoom either later today or tomorrow morning. So if you missed any information or want to go back and review it again, please check out our website, which is on the screen at the moment. But before we wrap things up, would any of the teachers or DCTS staff like to share any final comments?
I did just notice a question, can you be an EMT as a freshman? All of our courses start in 10th grade. So you have to be at least in 10th grade.
Yeah, and some of the programs or some of the certifications do have age requirements. I don't want to take up too much more time, but in order to be eligible for just that specific certification, you do have to be 16 years old. But a lot of students, if you miss getting that in your sophomore year, you'll be able to get it in your junior or your senior year, assuming you're a 2 or 3 year student with us. So it shouldn't be much of an issue. The one thing I would like to say, though, please feel free. Our emails are all on the DCTS page. Shoot anybody an email. You have any questions at all?
Yes, absolutely.
So I just want to say thank you to all the teachers, all the parents, students that asked some outstanding questions. Thank you for participating in this open house. We look forward to receiving an application or working with you over the next couple of years. If you have any questions, please contact us. You can find information on our website or speak to your school counselor. We have regular contact with school counselors around our programs, and by all means, apply. Most of our students get into their first choice, and most of our students have a successful time with us, learning about, in the case of these programs, the health sciences, health occupations. The key thing is ask the questions now. Get your application in prior to the end of February. If you get it in a little bit later, you should be okay, but our programs, in some of these programs, will fill up prior to the end of this school year. So thank you, everybody, for your time today, and we look forward to meeting you in person later on. So thank you. And that will conclude our time today.